I'ma fuck Zach so hard in that shower outside in public. Not really, but he literally has my stream open in the back. What a stalker.
That's right.
What a stalker.
What up, boys? What's up? What y'all doing?
Is that fella well? Yeah, I think he's doing pretty well.
I'm doing great. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm about to get some ice cream. What do you mean? Like,
why is Asmon here? This is his house.
I don't know why the fuck I would be in my own house. That's a really good question,
Yeah,
dude.
get the fuck out of my house, Zach.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Have you guys seen his shirt?
Yeah. Basically, Izzy wanted to get one, so I told her that, in order to be able to afford it, she'd have to actually do a stream and sell out a lot so she could afford one of these.
Fuck. He didn't stream today because he had to go to the dentist and check out his teeth. He had like really bad toothaches yesterday, so he needed to go for like a checkup and everything. Someone donated to tell you to say it.
What's up, y'all? It's me, your boy Asmongold.
There you go. Wait, you guys don't want me to say it? I can say it too. Why don't you want me to say it? I would sound so good if I said it. Can I say it, chat?
No, it's copyrighted. Hello.
What? Excuse me? Chastity belt on. Anyway. You can have his chair. I know, actually, that's really funny you say that because we did just switch chairs. You want to tell him why, Zach?
Yeah. So let me roll. This is a great chair. Really is. It's an amazing chair. But the problem with the chair is that it has a lot of boogers on it. And so I have to put this blanket over the chair. And she's like, you know what? I don't want to sit in the booger chair today while I'm doing my stream. And so we swapped the chairs around, and now she's sitting in the good chair.
Actually, the real reason is because that chair is like 20 years old and you can't even move it around. And it was pissing me off. So I was like,
really?
I don't want this chair anymore.
It's a great chair. I love this
No,
chair.
it's not. It's like literally so old. You can't even push it around. I think one side is broken.
Sam's Club whenever I was like 12.
And how much did you pay for it?
Like $85. My mom paid $85 for it.
$85? Are you crazy?
It was a great chair.
That's so expensive.
For a chair? You know the chair you're sitting in right now? You know how much that's worth?
No.
$400 chair.
How much?
$400.
That's reasonable for a chair like this, though, isn't it? Oh, I know why you're all here. Wait, everybody just write in chat right now why you're here, okay? Just tell me straight up why you came to my channel today, okay? Everybody just... Shut up! Shut the fuck up, Zach! Shut the fuck up!
Okay.
Milkers. Listen, we all know, like, you guys can stop lying in chat, okay? Because we all know that you came to my stream today for my amazing personality, okay? So you guys can just stop lying and admit it to yourselves because we all know that's the damn truth. We've been together for almost a year now, actually. It's pretty crazy how time has just, like, flown by. It really is.
Well, in real life?
Yeah. Like, I can't believe it's almost been 2 years. I kind of want to address that first. I have actually been getting a lot of questions, the past couple of days. Why I haven't moved in with Zach. And, if you guys don't know, he is actually staying at his old house. to take care of his mom because she's very sick and she can't move around very well. She can't see very well. She has a lot of health concerns and issues. And so that's why he's staying here, to help her with her daily chores, make sure that she's okay. He spends a lot of time with her, keeping her company and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why he hasn't moved out. Another reason is because he has to make sure that the house doesn't just fall apart. That's just simply it. Like, this house is very old, and, you know, there's tons of issues that happen. Like, there was a leak in the ceiling the other day that they had to fix. There are other things that need to be fixed around the house. So he's kind of a handyman, but he also takes care of his mom, right? So that's the reason why we haven't moved in together. We are planning on moving in together pretty soon, maybe within, like, the next...
So how exactly did Bubbles afford to live there? Was Mitch your sugar daddy?
I will get to that question in a second. I'm just gonna finish what I was saying. Wait, what was I saying? I forgot.
You're talking about how big my dick was.
I would say it's like maybe this. What was I, guys? What was I really talking about? Like, I forgot.
Why is that
I
goblin
completely
behind you playing
forgot.
WoW off stream?
About the house.
No, I was talking about us. Yeah, so.
No, this stuff.
Yeah, so I was saying how we are planning on moving together. That's the ultimate goal. It's just he wants to invest in a property because investing in properties is very, like, smart. Especially in Austin, because Austin is booming right now and the properties are going up in value a lot. So that's a really good idea. It's just that takes a lot of time to find a house and, like, you know,
it's hard to figure out, like, what we
deal.
want to do, right? Because
He needs to find care for his mom while he's not here. We want to try to find something that's close to the house. It's just a lot of issues and things that we have to do. So it will take us a couple of months, at least, I would say 6 or 7 months to get there, which is why I decided to move into a house with other people. And initially, it was going to be me and Kaylee moving into an apartment together. I came here back in, when was it? January?
I don't even, it was February.
I think it was January, actually. No, it was, I had visited Zach. I got done visiting Zach, and we had gone and looked at apartments, remember, in, like, December and January?
Did we do that in December?
We did that in December or January.
Shit.
Yeah. So we had looked at apartments together for me and Kaylee. And obviously he's taking care of his mom, so it was just going to be for me and Kaylee so that I could move to Austin and be closer to Zach. Because, as you guys know, I used to live in California for 4 years. And, you know, everybody knows that long-distance relationships are fucking trash. And so I wanted to move here to be closer to him. Now, I looked at several apartments, like different complexes and everything like that. And
they were shitholes.
They were shitholes, and on top of that, they were expensive shitholes. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to afford it, but it was just very expensive. And my good friend Katie and Mary, they were telling me that they had houses that were in, like, the same price range, essentially. So I was like, why would I buy a shitty apartment when I could just get a house, right? So we started looking at houses, and we were like, why don't we just do a fucking streamer house, right? And the initial idea was that we were gonna have 5 girls. We started with 4, but then we were like, we should get 5 so that we can have a 5-bedroom house, because that would mean that we would have to pay less per person. Because the more people you have in that house, the less you have to pay per person, right? So we were like, we want to keep the cost down as much as possible. So I had looked at a couple of houses, and they were like they weren't that expensive. They're like $2,000-$3,000 per house, right? So that would mean, let's see, quick math.
How much? What is it?
$2,000-$3,000 ish for like a
$2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
So that'd be like $600
Divided by 5. Is it $600 per person?
About.
Well, as you guys know, I suck at math, so give me a moment. Wait, what? Oh, I did the minus. Oops. Yeah, $600 per person.
If it's 3,000, it would be $600 per person because 6 times 5.
Okay, Zach. Stop exposing me, okay? Guys, yeah, math was not my top. What was the word? Subject. Guys.
Was English?
Actually, it was.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. As you guys know, I'm not native English, so English is actually my 3rd language. So if I'm like saying some dumb stuff, that's why. Dr. Audie donated $3.
What did he say?
And he said, "What would y'all ever do at Austin meetup, specifically at Wendy's?" Well, are you trying to meet both of us, or are you just trying to meet him? Because if you're trying to meet him through me, then I'm gonna tell you to shove a
carrot. Did you
tell
him about the email?
What email?
The one where they were trying to talk to me?
Oh yeah, so there was somebody from like a company that emailed me and was like, "Hi, I'm Becky from whatever company. I'm trying to get a hold of Asmongold, and I heard you guys were a couple. Could you talk to him for me?" And I didn't respond to that email at first because I was like, but then they followed up on that email and was like, "Just following up, wondering if you got a hold of Zach for me." And I responded and I was like, "I'm not his secretary." And then my response was, their response was, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it to sound like that." I was like, yeah, you better be sorry because that was so rude. Well, girl streamer house. Yes. Okay, so I don't know where I left off, but yeah, so I was looking at houses just randomly and anyway, yes, actually, this is really funny that you brought that up, Aunt, because the initial idea was 4 girls and Aphrodite, so 4 girls and a gay guy. We figured, well, he's essentially one of us, so, because he's that cool. Anyway, so that was the initial idea, and so I wrote a tweet. Kaylee wrote a tweet on Twitter that we're looking for roommates to live with us in this house. And we had found a house actually already that was like very nice. Okay, it was in a nice neighborhood. This house was not, however, $2,000 to $3,000. I think this house was way beyond that. I believe it was maybe $5,000.
Like $6,000.
No, it wasn't that house, Zach. It was another house. This house was like $5,000, and this is because we wanted a pool at our house. Okay, we were like, we're not getting a house without a pool. I think we all had agreed that we wanted a pool for the house, and the 2 houses that we had looked at was one for $3,000. But that house didn't have a room that would fit Aunt properly. It was very small. So we looked at the $5,000 house. That house was perfect. Okay? If you guys had seen the backyard of that house, like they had a slide into the pool. They had like a fire pit. They had like a whole bar station, a grill, like a whole sunshade thing, like a whole jacuzzi on top of the pool and a hot tub. They had a fucking shower outside, you guys. A shower, like a big shower station that you could shower. I was like, I'm gonna fuck Zach so hard in that shower outside in public. Not really, but the thought went through my brain, okay? The thought went through my brain and I was like, this is lit, okay? This is the house to be. And everybody agreed. We were like, yep, this is the house. So we're like, we tell our realtor that we had hired, and getting a realtor in Austin to look for houses is free. The house owner pays the money for the realtor. Yes and no. So I needed to take a break for like just breathe for a moment. Yeah, anyway, so we were like, we need this house. Like, this is the house. Because Kaylee went back home. I went back home to California, and I was like, we need this house. Okay, there's no second option. We're not getting any other house. This is the one. So we go back home, and we're trying to look at applicants. Like, that's when, after we went back home, we started looking for applicants for the house. We had a couple of people in mind. It was going to be me, Kaylee, Tiffany, JC, Aphrodite. That was it. That was the 5 people that we wanted in the house. So we wanted 5 people for the house. But we were like, the rent is $5,000. We wanted to split the rent between more people. So we looked at other candidates, and a lot of them, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, like most of them did not make enough money to pay for the house. Our minimum requirement was $2,000 per month, which is not that high, in my opinion, and a lot of the people that applied did not make that much. So we were like, damn, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, this is such a beautiful house. We need this house, right? So I'm like, okay, we can figure this out. And Kaylee brought up the idea of having Mitch and Ethan move in. And Ethan is Mitch's longtime friend since they were young. You know, he vouched for him, and I didn't know Ethan, but he was in a lot of our meetings that we had before we moved into the house. And he seemed like a really cool guy. He seemed very responsible because he showed up to pretty much every meeting that we had. So I was like, yeah, okay, this guy is cool. And Kaylee, like, hardcore vouched for Mitch, because I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that every single person in that group besides Ethan had an issue with Mitch moving in. Like, not necessarily. It was more of a concern for what could happen, right? And even I had a concern. It was like, this guy pisses in fucking bottles, y'all. Like, and I'm not exaggerating again when I tell you that Ed freaked the fuck out. Like, he freaked the fuck out. And you can confirm this, Ann, okay? He freaked the fuck out when he heard that Mitch Jones was gonna move into the fucking house. He was like, no, I am not moving into that fucking house. That's gonna be a goddamn shit show. He did a reading on it, everything. He's like, this is bound to end up bad. So he's like, I am out. I'm not moving into this house. We had a bit of an argument. Him, me, and Kaylee. Of course, we sorted it. No worries. We're friends now. It's all good. But it was a shit show. Yeah, so he was out. So Ant was out. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, at that point, we brought in Tiff after that, because Tiff was like our backup choice, because we had already had 5 people before then. And that was when we had Tiff instead of Aphrodite. He was like the backup choice. So then we brought Tiff on board, and we applied for the house. It was going to be 6 of us, I believe. I don't know if this is when Dustin... No, so there were 6 of us that was going to live in the house, right? In that beautiful house with the shower outside. And this is not our house that we have now, okay? So just keep that in mind. This was a different house. Way better than the house we have now, okay? Like, I'm telling you guys, that backyard was gorgeous, okay? Our backyard is, like, mediocre, right? Like, you guys have probably seen our backyard. It's mediocre at best. It's not great. But, yeah, so that was that house, and we applied for it. we went through the process and we got rejected, right? They were like, we don't want several people in their 20s moving into our house. Because that was a gated community and there were beautiful homes in the area. And the house was beautiful as well. So they were like, we don't want you guys to move into the house. And we had gone through the application process, right? And everybody had used their credit. So our credit went down from that. Like, I don't think my credit dropped much. It was like maybe 10 points. But for some of us, there was a couple of, I think Jay dropped like maybe 30 points in her credit score, which is bad. They sold the house. I have messages. They never said that. The previous ones for the past house, we applied for that house, Mitch. I have the applications for the house, so you're not listening. We applied for the house and we were rejected. I don't know exactly what the reasoning was behind it, but they told us that they didn't want us to move in because they rejected our application, right? So that was that house. And so we were like, fuck, that was like the house we wanted, right? We had put everything into the house. We did not have a backup house in place. We're like, God damn it. So then me and Kaylee start looking for other houses in Austin. And obviously, like, Kaylee had come to Austin with me to look at these houses with Jay in person. And I was like, damn, we spent so much money to go to Austin. We have to go back to look for houses because we obviously wanted to see the houses in person. But, yeah, we didn't do that. So, so we looked at other houses as well. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys, there weren't that many selections from what we saw. I'm sure maybe there's different selections now, but back when we looked at it, there wasn't much to go off of. The house that we had looked at with the other pool was like $3,000. They weren't on the market anymore. There was another beautiful house for $4,000 that had already sold, even though the ad was still up, and we were kind of disappointed in that. So there was our house on the market, right? And we didn't like our previous what is it, realtor that we were working with. There was a lot of issues with her, but I'm not going to get into that because I feel like that's besides the point. So we contacted one of the realtors that Katie recommended because Katie, aka Fandy, had just gotten her own house. And she was like, he's the best. He did such a good job. So we hired him. And I will say, he did a very, very good job finding us a house, right? And he even went as far as going to this house that we're currently staying at to look at it and FaceTime Kaylee every room, right? He went around the house. He talked to the realtor of the house because in Texas or most states, the house owners usually have a realtor, and then the people looking for a house usually have a realtor, right? So 2 realtors. And we thought it was a nice house. It was not as nice as the first one that we had applied to, but we were like, okay, we can make this work. It's okay. It's fine. And there was actually 7 rooms in the house, and the rent was over $6,000. So we're like, okay, this is a nice house, but it's not $5,000 like the other house. We need another person. So Kaylee got in touch with Dustin, aka D-Kane, who was interested in moving out of his parents' house. And we had to talk to him. We discussed the details of the house. We showed him what the house was going to be. He was very interested. So we were like, okay, let's apply for this house. And we the thing is, we didn't physically go look at the house, right? We didn't know anything about the neighborhood or anything like that. We were just like taking a chance on this house. We didn't know any HOA stuff or like what neighborhood we were moving into, but we knew the house was really really nice. And so we figured, or at least I don't know what the other people, I can only speak for myself, but I figured this is probably going to be a nice area too, right? Because it was gated. And most communities that are gated are rich neighborhoods, right? It makes sense, duh. So we got Dustin on board, and the thing is, we put 5 people on our application, and there's many reasons why we only put 5. One of which, I don't know if I should be saying this on stream. I'm going to try to make it as nice as possible. But Dustin and Ethan were not making enough money at the time. But we really, really liked Dustin. Like, we were like, this guy is perfect for the house. And Ethan is Mitch's friend. So we were like, yeah, okay, we're just not going to put them on the application because we may get rejected if they're not on it. Or if they are on it, and the house owner sees that they're not making enough money, we could be rejected, right? So I hope they're okay with me saying that. I'm sure Dustin would be. But yeah, so we did that, and we applied. Actually, there's a lot. I mean, honestly, there's like so many details that have just never been like revealed before, because I just feel like it wasn't really worth it. Sorry if I'm getting like really nervous, because I'm trying to like get everything perfectly like how it was. I am so nervous because I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to offend anybody or start shit, because like all the stuff that's been happening is just like, it's not good, right? So I'm trying to like really make sure that I'm saying everything properly and not pissing anybody off, right? So if I'm saying something that is not accurate, let me know. You see me? I was trying to find my CVD pen earlier. I could not find it. So I'm just like really anxious right now, just so you guys know. Anyway, so we applied for the house, and Ken really vouched for us. That was our realtor. He was so good with like making sure that we were all gonna be able to get this house, because he talked to the house owner several times. We were like, we already got rejected. We don't want to get rejected again, waste all this money, because applications in Texas are expensive. We paid $360 on our first application to the first house and got rejected. So we're like, if we're gonna spend almost $3,000, it was cheaper for the second, or $300, I mean, for the second house. We want to make sure that we can get it, because if we don't get the second house, we're down like almost $600, like combined, right? And yeah, it was like $80 per application for the first house, and then $60 for the second house, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was like that. So yeah, so I was like, talk to them, make sure that they're okay, and vouch for us. So Ken went to the house owner and told them, they're just, this, I'm paraphrasing what he said. Like, Kaylee can call him on the phone and ask him exactly what he said. Okay, I'm doing my very best to get everything right, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation. I didn't want any of this stuff to be out there. I feel like we shouldn't have, no one should have ever talked about the situation at all, like turned it into this, because this is what people want. They wanted drama. They were waiting by the phone to see what was going to happen with this house, right? So I'm just trying to go out there and just say everything so that there's no, like, there can be no misinterpretation of what happened, right? And I'm not trying to make anybody look bad, because that's already happened, right? I mean, this whole thing was just so unnecessary. Like, nothing needed to happen. So, okay. Ken went to the house owner and was like, these people are gamers, alright? They're like big nerds that just sit inside their rooms and play video games all day. And he really went out of his way to like vouch for us to the house owner. And she was okay with it. She was like, all right, I'm okay with that. They can apply. And they were actually expecting our application because we took a long time to apply since Kaylee was at a convention for like a week. So when she came back home, we all sat down and applied. I made sure that we were still eligible for the house because we were worried somebody else was going to apply. But yeah, we all applied. And we waited. And we waited. And we waited. I think we waited maybe almost 2 weeks. They had to do background checks on us. And then the house owner had to review the application with the background check. And then give us her decision. So we waited for almost 2 weeks. And then I wrote in the group chat, because we had a group chat together. We still do. I was like, we didn't get this house. Like, there's no way. They haven't responded for 2 weeks. There's no way we got this house. We got rejected again. Over $600 spent. Like, fuck, man. You know? All these months. Like, at this point, it was... What month was it? It was like April, okay? I'd started this whole thing with Kaylee back in January. And by that time that we got approved, it was April, so it had been a while, right? And Kenan messaged me, and he said, you got approved. And I was like, I was so excited. I copy-pasted what he wrote in the group chat. Kaylee literally called me 30 seconds later and was screaming on the phone. She was so excited. We were all so excited for this house. We were like, fuck yeah, this is going to be the best time ever. And we're like, okay, let's have a house meeting. Let's try to sort this out. Because the house owner was asking, when are you guys moving in, right? So we're like, fuck, it's already like almost May. Like, this was in the middle of April. So I was like, okay, we can move in next week. But obviously that was like... We're gonna move in next week. Actually, it was like the beginning of April. It wasn't like towards the end. It was like more towards the middle. It's like April 10th, maybe. So we're like, okay, we can move in next week. But then everyone was like, nah, we can't do that. That's way too soon. It's like Tiff had to end her lease. Like, there's just a ton of things. Should I just turn off my music? Like, are you okay with my music being on? Or should I turn off the music? Yes or no? Tell me, chat. Let's get a majority vote, right? Okay.
Let's just turn it down a lot.
It's like really low though. Also, my alerts are quite loud too. So let me actually turn down the. I'm gonna turn off the music, okay? And I'm also gonna turn off the alerts because I feel like it's unfair for me to tell the story and then just like stop in the middle and talk about a donation, right? I think that's fair for everybody that's here to just turn them off for the stream. So I'm gonna do that right now. 1 second. Wait, oops, no, I just tested it instead. Okay. All right, I just turned off. I should just put a thing on my stream actually. Hold on, let me do that real quick. Where do I text? Okay. Alright. Where's a good place to put this? Here?
Yeah.
Alright, right there. Okay. So, where was I? I forgot what I was talking about. Right, so we had a house meeting, and throughout the time that we had meetings, or not how, it was more like a Discord server meeting with all the other people, right? We had a lot of conversations pretty much once a week about what we had, like, what kind of expectations everyone had for the house, right? And Mitch was there a couple, like, sometimes for maybe a few minutes, like, there was one time we really asked him to be there for the whole meeting, and he did stay. So I give him props for that. But I do wish that Mitch had been more present in the meeting, because I don't think that he really understood what the expectations were for the house. So I will say that about the meetings before we moved into the house. This was before, right? We had this like for months. And the expectations for the house was that we're gonna have a good time. And I'm down, like, I really, really hate that people are calling me, like, this party pooper all the time, that I'm just yelling at everybody to shut up every day. Because what you see on stream, like, maybe once, is not necessarily true for, like, the entire time that we were at the house. I will say that I did tell them to stop being loud at night, because we were in trouble with the HOA, like, from day one, right? And
Day 2.
Yeah, day 2. Right. I was like, I really want us to stay in this house, and I want to give some backstory to that, why I tried so hard. Is because my ex-boyfriend is a realtor. So I have first-hand experience with dealing with this stuff, because he had to evict several people. I know kind of the idea of, like, the city codes, like, the single family home. I knew exactly what that's about. There's just a lot of things that I knew about this stuff, right? So I was like very on top of like keeping the house clean and like making sure that they weren't disturbing neighbors.
I was flipping it around.
Can I show them what this is, by the way? What happened?
I was doing like this, right? I was doing a little bit
Did
like,
you
woo.
smack yourself in the
And I
face?
was like, wow, it hit me in the face.
Good.
What?
Good. That's what you get. That's what you get. Yo, can you guys guess what this is? Real quick? Everybody? You guys want to guess? You guys probably know what this is, but like, what kind do you think? What kind of poster do you guys think this is, just by looking at it? Do you see it now? Do you see it now?
We like Fortnite.
So, me and Zach went to Walmart the other day,
Yep.
and we found this poster just going through the poster selection that they had. And it's right there. Ninja. I was like, I cannot give up this opportunity to support my favorite streamer, Ninja. So I was like, yes, I'm buying this right now.
I'm gonna throw that shit away. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick it up your ass. I'm just kidding, guys. No worries. You're not throwing this poster away.
Yeah? Yeah?
No.
Let's see about that. I'm gonna scratch that out, put Asmongold on there.
You know what? I would be okay if you took a white pen and you wrote "and Asmongold" under Ninja.
Okay.
I would be okay with that.
Alright, that's acceptable.
Okay, good. Alright, so we got that settled. That's out of the way. Where did I leave off? I swear to God, I forget what I'm talking about, like, every 2 seconds. What was
About how you were a party pooper and you hated it when other people in the house had fun.
Okay, so I was like the mom of the house, okay? I think everybody in the house, if I asked them, they could give me a sense of respect, even Kaylee, to admit that I was the mom of the house, okay? I was in charge of, like, keeping this shit together, right? And it was hard. Like, when I say it was hard, this was harder than taking care of children in, like, pre-kindergarten, okay? Like, we're talking, like, 6-month-old babies. It was hard. It really was. And I'm not saying that to be a bitch, but I'm saying that because it was very difficult for me to make sure that stuff was, you know, livable.
As a way to kind of make that more of a thing, whenever me, S-Fund, Rich, and Stay Safe tried to make a house, fuck, dude, we couldn't even get that shit off the ground.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, it's hard because everybody there was stupid. No, it's not it at all. It's just really hard to get people that have
just-
like different schedules and
Yeah.
all this different shit going on
And
to
it's
do
not
the same
it's
thing.
not just like
That-
keeping the house
yeah.
clean or like not staying up late. It's a lot more than that. I want to say that. Like, it's hard to organize things with the group. Like, some people in the house were trying to get sponsorships. Like, it was just a lot of things that needed to be done. Like, we needed to find furniture. Like, it was a whole list of things, right? It's a lot of work and dedication from, I think, everybody in the house, right? Not just me. And, you know, I have gone out with the house several times. We've gone down to 6th Street multiple times since I got to the house. I've been in the pool, I've been in the hot tub, I've partied, and I've stayed up late in the house. So, whenever people say that, like, I have just not been involved whatsoever, it's because I just don't like being on stream whenever they're walking around the house and we're not doing anything. Because, like, I'm sitting around in my sweater, like, my sweatpants, my hair is a mess, I have no makeup on, I look like shit, right? And I'm just like, they're gonna call me a fucking crackhead if I go on the stream. Like, I do not want to be a part of that. I want to look my best when I stream. That's just me. So, I wanted to, like, not be involved in that. And I've been on the stream a couple of times when they've done things. But for most part, I was just, like, not my scene. So, God, there's like so much. What was I talking about? I forgot again. Guys, I'm just really bad at this, okay? Yeah, so I will say I wasn't a part of like every single time they stayed up, because it was all the time that they stayed up, right? I was a part of it every now and then, like mostly on weekends, right? But I am not exaggerating when I tell you that they were up every night. Sometimes I had yelled at them and they wouldn't stay up, right? And they were calm. There were times in the house where everything was great. I was like, okay, we're going out on the weekends, like we're doing stuff together as a group and everyone's doing great. No one's leaving trash and poop and whatever else that they're doing in the house. It was amazing. Like, whenever there were good times in the house, it was amazing. Like, I was, like, so happy. That's exactly what I wanted for the house. And whenever it wasn't, it was really disappointing, because I just wanted it to work out. You know, I really did. And it just sucks that this happened, right? Because a lot of us had different ideas of what the house was supposed to be after we moved in. I think everyone agreed on how we wanted it before, but then all of that just like changed once everyone moved into the house. And so I just kind of was really sad at the house, and everybody knows that I was miserable. Like, let's be honest, everybody knows that I was miserable in the house. Like, half of the time I was just at Zach's house or at other friends' houses, right? So it's not a surprise that I was miserable at the house. And whenever I'm miserable, I do not want to stream, right? I've taken a couple of days after the drama and I've just not streamed. I've just distanced myself. I've tried really hard to not go on social media. I'm just not in a good mood, you know? And I do not want to stream when I'm in a bad mood, because then I'm just gonna fuck it up, you know? Like, I'm just gonna say something fucking stupid. So, the reason I haven't streamed is mainly because I was just having a bad time. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I streamed way more before I moved into the house. I think I stopped streaming consistently after I moved into the house. What is that?
Cookie.
You didn't bring me one? Oh, a fly literally just landed on it.
That means it's going to taste better. It's got protein on it now.
Can I have some water? Can you give me water? What am I? Yeah. He's the best.
I know.
Honestly, I just want to give a big shout out to Zach for dealing with all my dumb shit for the past couple of days. Like, I've been
Did
Yeah.
you say days or years?
Are you gonna stop exposing me, Zach? Like, I swear to God. Low key, like, I'm surprised you're still with me at this point. Because I'm very emotional, okay, chat? Like, I'm not malicious, but I'm very emotional. So, whenever I get upset about something, I raise my voice, right? This is bad. I'm working on it, okay? I try. Have I gotten better?
Yeah.
I hope you mean that and you're not just saying that for stream, because I feel like I've gotten better, but yeah. Okay. Where did I leave off? Yeah, so, I mean, there's documented proof that I've been out with the house, and I've been downtown, and so I love to go out and dance, you guys, okay? I really do. When Tricky and Fawn were in town, I fucking love Tricky and Fawn. Like, they're so fucking cool. I like them so much. Every time we've gone out, I've been dancing, we've been going to the gay club, partying it up, drinking, whatever. It's been great. So I love doing that. But not every day of the week, okay? I typically do it maybe twice a week, and then I'm pooped after that. Actually, you know what? Sometimes I can do it 3 times. I've gone out to the bar with the house several times as well, so it's not like I just, like, completely distance myself. And there's another person in the house, and I'm gonna try my best during the stream not to name names, because I feel like I've been put in a position where I am, like, targeted. That's just how I've felt, and I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, I've felt like I've been targeted, and everybody else in the house is just, like, not been mentioned whatsoever. So I just want to do my best to, like, not name names, because I just don't think it's worth it. So there is another person in the house, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you that as soon as that person moved into the house, they did not want to be involved in this stuff at all. They were not having it. They were not having it. They were not having it so much to the point where they told me that they wanted to move out immediately. And
Remember the night they came to move in?
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell them that story?
Don't say it. No. If that person wants to speak about it openly, they can. But I'm not going to go into that, because I don't think it's fair to just talk about that. That's not the focus of the stream. And there have been other times where another person as well have expressed to me that they wanted to move out. So there are 3 people in the house. I mean, I think everybody knows at this point, but if they want to talk about it, they can talk about it. I'm just not going to talk about it on my stream. So I feel like the house was really split from the very beginning, and I had a feeling like it was going to be a problem, because we had all signed a lease together. We had paid a lot of money to get there already, and it would be a waste of time to just move out immediately as soon as we moved in, right? And I also expressed to the group I wanted to move out pretty much after the 4 a.m. incident. I was pissed about that, because I had no idea Mitch was yelling, and I just exposed the fuck out of myself on that stream. Like, it was so embarrassing. Like, I should have never had done that, and I felt so fucking stupid after that stream. Like, I felt so stupid. I was like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, guys, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I was laying in my bed fucking sleeping, because I had gone out that same night, okay? Just making sure you guys know. I was out with the group that very night to 6th Street, okay? We were partying it. I just decided to go home earlier and go to bed. So they bust through the fucking door. I'm just like, I am not having it, because they had been doing that pretty much since we moved in. And it hasn't been on stream, guys. Just because they're not streaming going out doesn't mean that they're not going out, okay? Just making sure you guys know that. That is not the case. They were going out every night. And I have no problem with people going out, but it's inconsiderate for the house when other people are trying to sleep. When it's every single night. If it's like a mutual thing during the weekends, fine. That's okay. I had no problem with that. But if it's every night, it becomes a problem. And anybody that says it's because it's a streamer house, no, that doesn't mean that it's a party everyday house. Okay, there are so many streamer houses out there that do not have this problem. I've lived in a dorm room before. I've lived with other roommates before in 2 different houses. And I never had these types of problems. We had other problems, but not like this. And you guys could, like, I mean, there's so many streamer houses out there that don't have this problem, okay? So I think it's a little...
the thing with, like, a streamer house, right, is that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody in the house wants to be on stream all the time. I think that there's a lot of instances of, people in different professions that want, especially whenever streaming is kind of an isolating job, right? You're doing it by yourself, you're in your own room, in your own house, and you don't really get a lot of opportunities to go out and see other people, especially people that do the same thing that you do. So the idea of having a camaraderie, of living with other people that share the similar struggles and, enjoyments and things that you do is compelling in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be on camera all the time or they want to do IRL all the time. I think a lot of people, just because you're a streamer doesn't mean you want to do IRL streaming, for example. And, I think that kind of goes back to what Izzy was saying earlier about people, having like different expectations going into the house, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, to add to that, we had several house meetings at the house. And I wanna be, what's the word? Clear that it was everyone's idea. And it wasn't just my idea to have streamer house and have rules and have agreements in the house. Transparent. That's a good word. I like that. Thanks, chat. But everyone had agreed to do this. And I don't know if certain people in the house were just saying that they were agreeing, but I think that I would have deserved a lot more truth in that matter if that is the case. Because I literally said after the 4 a.m. incident that I wanted to move out. And this was like the first month of the house, right? I was like, at that point, Emiya had been coming over to the house a lot. They've been hanging out with her pretty much every night. Which I don't have a problem with Emiya. I really don't. There was some drama that happened with her. People in the house didn't like her, then they liked her the next day. I wasn't really involved with that. I didn't really hang out with her as much as everyone else. But I was like, why doesn't Emma just move in instead of me? Right? That was my idea. I was like, she can move in, I can move in somewhere else, and you guys can have a good time together. I brought that up to the group. And they were like, no, we want you to stay. So we had a meeting about it. And I expressed that I don't want them to stay up every night because HOA, I leaked the letters. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I fucked up, okay? I fucked up several times after moving out. Or moving into the house, I mean. I shouldn't have yelled at 4 a.m. in the morning. I shouldn't have leaked the letters with the address. I don't know if everybody forgot, but I still live at the house. It's my house too, and I should have been more careful with leaking the address. That was a mistake. I should have made sure that wasn't in there. So, yeah, I fucked up, okay? But since a lot of you guys have read those letters, you know that the address on top of other things were already out there, right? The HOA, somebody contacted the HOA pretty much after the
second or third day.
Pretty much after my birthday, okay? I wanted a chill birthday. I'd asked the group specifically to just chill. And I want you guys to understand that when someone accuses another streamer of doing this, it's wrong. Because we don't know who did this. And I don't want you guys to speculate about anybody, because that's not okay. Alright? I know for a fact that the person who people are accusing did not do this. Okay? So I just want that to be clear. And let's move on from that. Okay? There's been a lot of accusations, a lot of pointing fingers in the house.
Can I
No, wait. I just don't think it's fair to point a finger at one person. So.
Can I tell a story about your birthday?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to get her a cake. She wants a cheesecake. We put on the cake, "Happy Birthday, Izzy." So we drive back to the house, and this is the second day. And I think this is just me driving back.
Yeah, May 2nd is my birthday, guys.
Yeah,
okay, I didn't.
She moves here. On
I didn't
May 1st.
want my birthday to be the day after moving out. I hated that was the case, but I can't help when my birthday is. Okay, so just make it.
Yeah. So the cheesecake. So I'm even driving there and driving back. I forgot which one. And there was this lady that was going in there, and for whatever reason, I drove around her, and she gave me the meanest, nastiest, like, just fucking disgusted look that I have ever seen anybody give another individual in my life. She was not happy about the fact that I existed. So I parked the car on
This was May 1st. Like, this was
it could have been
literally
the second. I honestly
No.
fucking don't remember.
This was literally the first day.
It was like
This
one of the
was-
first few
no,
days,
this was
right?
literally the first
And
day.
it's
Zach,
not
I
like,
remember.
and it's not like we have even been there long enough for them to have developed any sort of a opinion about us, right? Unless
we had
she really just
U-Haul
hates
trucks in the
yeah,
in the
unless
driveway.
she just really hates Mustangs, there is no reason for her to dislike me.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I drive over there and I park the car on the outside of like the curb. Well, apparently in the HOA rules, the 8,000 rules, one of them apparently is don't park your car outside the curb. And these people are so fucking anal that they actually complained about it for one day.
Yeah.
So they were on top of that, and Izzy, like, to further represent, Izzy did want a chill birthday. Like, she didn't want us to sing her happy birthday. Now, don't worry about it, guys. I did it anyway, and I embarrassed her. But, it wasn't exactly something that she wanted to. She just wanted to have a chill birthday, and, probably had a lot of people there, etc.,
We
etc.,
just
etc.
moved there. I was
Yeah, we had
exhausted.
just moved there.
I was down to have a birthday party
Yeah.
or whatever, but I just didn't want to do anything crazy because we just moved in the day before. So
Right. So that all this shit happens, and we find out that there was somebody, we don't know who this person is. We do not know who this person is who called the HOA. This is like the second or...
no, they emailed.
They emailed the HOA, and they were like,
Ho's mad.
no, we don't...
HOA Ho's mad.
That's actually good, yeah. I like that.
That's
That's
so good.
Yeah, okay, alright, yeah. So,
I
yeah,
love that.
true as well. And so they
Ho's,
email...
do you guys get it?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
whatever.
email HOA and they say, listen, these motherfuckers, boy, are you in for a treat.
Yeah.
And, they went in, obviously, and they because it was very clear that they actually had an understanding of who all was in the house because they listed, specific people's names and then also things that they had done in the past.
Zach,
And
we
I just want to make sure that all this is chronologically.
are you talking about the email that they sent in?
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a chill birthday, right? And I invited some of my close friends, and I was fine with them inviting their close friends too, but I just simply didn't want a party, right? And it just kind of slowly turned into a party over the night. I'm not talking like crazy 50, 100 people, but I'm talking like 30, maybe 40 people there. And so I went upstairs and I wanted to just chill because it was too much for me. Like, I just didn't want to do that. And I felt it was really disappointing because I wanted to try to like watch a movie and eat good food with everybody, but it just wasn't working that way. It may not even have been 40. Like, I didn't really stay down there, but there's definitely about 30 people in the house at that time. It's not like I went down there and counted myself, but there was definitely a lot of people in the house. And so I went to bed, and I think people stayed up for a while, but it wasn't crazy. Like, I know that they stayed up till like maybe 3 or 4 a.m. I don't know. I didn't really care. It was like the first day. I didn't give a fuck if they stayed up. It was like, whatever. What am I gonna yell at them the first day we moved in? It's like, no, of course not. So we all go to sleep, and the next morning, I don't know if it was Mitch or Kaylee who sent this in the group chat. I think it was Kaylee, because she had been in touch with the landlord of the house and the homeowner, and they told us that HOA was on our ass. They were like, yo, we got this email, we're so fucked right now. So we all had like a little meeting about it in the morning. Or it wasn't morning, it was like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. PM, I mean. So we had a meeting, and we read the email, and we're like, fuck, this is bad. We had discussed moving in and like going around the neighborhood and giving gift baskets to our neighbors. We're like, we want to be really respectful because this is a rich as fuck neighborhood and we want to stay here, right? So that was the plan. But we're like, fuck that. They're not getting our gift baskets. Like, they're on our ass day one. Like, I was pissed about it. Everybody else was pissed about it, okay? And I told them, okay, we need to keep like the house parties down to a minimum and be a little more respectful, right, of the neighbors. So we decided not to like party for the next couple of days at the house. We all kind of went out to 6th Street the day after that, and everybody started streaming. And you know, like, if you watch any of the earlier streams, it was very much Streamlit related. Like, there was a lot of like pool streams, and we had a barbecue stream, and we started watching Game of Thrones, and just a ton of things, right? So that was that, and we were hoping that nothing was going to come out of this HOA thing, and that they were just like on our ass about it, but they were going to give up. And I will be honest, we didn't really hear much about it until later. But I also will say that looking at the emails myself, the house owner was concerned, and so was the realtor, because they were like, do we need to kick these people out? I don't know. I'm just speculating. So anyway, we didn't really hear from them for a while, and I was like, okay, I think we're in the clear. I feel like they aren't gonna bother us for a while. So we just continue, and things start getting pretty bad after that, because we had taken like a week or two just like keeping stuff down, going out to party on weekends, and like just being like, it was honestly like one of the best times I've ever had. Just like really having a great time at the house after that. And we kind of figured, okay, they haven't messaged us, so we're probably in the clear, right? And I feel like that's why some people in the house started doing stuff like that again, because we hadn't heard anything from HOA. The house owner and the realtor hadn't talked to us again, so they probably thought that we were okay, like nothing was happening, right? So they started partying a lot, coming home late, staying home late. We would have house meeting after house meeting after house meeting, talking about how dirty the house was, talking about all these other issues we had in the house, like trying to figure out when our laundry days are. Like, we had a whiteboard with like stuff that we needed to do, like get done, right? On top of like the partying. I think honestly the two things that were the biggest concerns in the house was how dirty it was and how late everyone was up, and also how many people were staying over and partying. So a lot of people were staying over at the house. Just like random people I didn't really know. I know Kaylee had an issue with that as well. It was a lot. And I feel like a lot of the people in the group are not the confrontational type. And so they didn't want to tell them to leave. Which I get it, right? No one wants to be the bad guy. Like, literally nobody in the house wanted to be the bad guy. And that usually meant that I had to be the bad guy. Because who else would be the bad guy? Like, besides me, right? And I was like, okay, I'm alright with that because I wanted to stay in the house. I really just did. Because I had a good time there. And I think a lot of the times that I told them to, like, keep it down was because I was concerned about HOA, but also because I wanted to sleep. Like, it wasn't just that I wanted to sleep every night after 2 a.m., guys. Like, it was a lot to do with just keeping the house together. Like, I was really concerned after that first letter. I was like, I've dealt with HOA before, and as I'm sure if you guys have too, you know that these people can be trouble. Like, a lot of times they just fight to get you out of a house. And whenever Kaylee said that the landlord was okay with us staying and she wasn't going to evict us, I know that the homeowner was on our side a lot of times and she was fighting for us, which I appreciated up until the day I moved out. But I'm telling you right now, if HOA wanted us out of the house, they could have gotten us out of the house.
Can I get in here?
Yeah, sure.
It's like the landlord was like, yeah, obviously I don't want to have to find new people.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, here's the thing. People that have problems are problems. And at a certain point, they were getting sick of dealing with this. Because there were just more and more problems. There were more and more problems. And it doesn't matter whose side who is on. The person that owns the house doesn't even speak English.
Yeah.
So they were getting pretty fucking sick and tired of dealing with this to begin with.
And I'm gonna also add to that HOA can foreclose a house. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't think... Honestly, a lot of the times when I would talk to the house about this stuff, they didn't know any of this. You know? They didn't know that they could fine the owner. They didn't know that we could get fined. They didn't know that the house could be foreclosed or that they could complain to the city. Right, so because a lot of them had not lived in the house before or like owned a house or like rented it, but some did. Most didn't, right? So yeah, whatever. If they wanted to get us out of the house, I keep having to say this because it's like, it should be so clear at this point that if they wanted us out of the house, they could have done it. I mean, if anybody in the house thought that we could just make it through 10 months, they're only fooling themselves. And, like, I didn't know that they were fighting this stuff until maybe June. Because, like I said, we didn't hear anything from them after that first complaint, right? We didn't hear anything. We were like, okay, it's fine. It's all good, right? And anybody in the house can say that. Like, there was no complaints to us directly. I only found out that there was, in fact, complaints when I came back from California because the landlord had come down to the house. She was going to look at the house and talk to the people there. I was in California at the time, so I told them to deal with it. And she had left letters from the HOA that had been sent. And obviously, if you had read the leaked stuff, you would know this. I'm not going to show it on stream again, but yeah. So they had been complaining in May several times, in June several times, right? So this was continuous with the homeowner, and they were threatening to fine her $250 per day if she did not kick us out, right? So And no one is going to pay $250 per day to have us stay in the house. I mean, let's be honest. You think she would pay $250 per month for 10 months? No. Let's be real. Anybody can do the calculations, and she would not do it, alright? Everybody knows. So yeah, I found that out, and so I started messaging the homeowner and the realtor and all that. I hadn't been in touch with them before, but only because we had trouble with the rent. Like, there were so many things in the house that we were trying to organize that was just torture. Like, getting 7 people to be on the same page is really, really difficult, okay? Like, making sure everybody pays rent, making sure everyone is, like, splitting the cost between furniture, making sure everyone is, like, pitching in for groceries. It's just a lot of things to keep track of. And it was very difficult for not just me, but other people in the house, too. So, I messaged her, and I was, like, trying to solve the situation, because I've experienced other people having to be evicted. I knew about the city zone laws, which, if you guys don't know about this, you could have Googled it yourself probably, but every city have zones where they divide properties into different categories. So you got, like, your commercial real estate, like, you know, malls, etc. Or you got, like, apartment complexes, or you got gated areas with their houses, like residential areas. And typically, I will admit, I did not look into this before moving, because I figured that the realtor would know and make sure, right? You would assume that a realtor would know this, and they would just not approve us if they knew that it was like a single family home. But I just didn't do my due diligence and look into it. Honestly, I didn't even look into the HOA rules either, but I should have. Like, we should have looked into all this stuff before. It's in the paperwork, it's your job. It's not in the paperwork for the house. It's a city rule, and it's different in every city. Because there are homes that are not single family homes as well, where you can share with several residents and not just 2 unrelated individuals. So, has to be zoned R2 for multifamily. Yeah, so I figured, okay, I don't need to do my due diligence on this, because I figured the house owner or the realtor would have known this already. So yeah, anyway, we didn't know that. And when I saw that, I'm not kidding you, I was like, we're fucked. Because my ex dealt with a person like this before. Because he purchased a house in a single family zone without realizing it, and he rented it out to several individuals, I think 5. And then the neighbor complained to the city over and over and over again. And then they came out to inspect the property, told him to get the fuck out. They were like, get out of here. We're gonna take your house if you don't get out. So he had to move everybody from the house and rent it out to a family instead, right? So that happened. I was like, oh God. Like, we are so screwed. And so, I talked to the house owner, and I told him I would do my research, and like, it's a lot, because HOA could have simply just called the city and made a complaint, like a formal complaint, and we would have been kicked out, like 100%. There was so much evidence that HOA were collecting, like, to the point where they were actually holding and still holding a hearing.
They were watching the streams.
They were watching the streams because of somebody who told them that we were social media people in the beginning, right? Like, our address was literally leaked on the second day. During that stream, it was leaked. We had deliveries to the house. We even received mail to the mail office that was addressed... Can I say that? Should I say that?
Can I tell the story?
He tells it a lot more funny than I did, because he was with me when we went to the mail office. So you go ahead and tell this story.
So Izzy and I, we were going to go, and I think it was just the 2 of us. And we were going to go to pick up something that she had ordered. And because for whatever reason they hadn't gotten their mail set up, or I forgot why, we had to go
We didn't
all
get our
the
mail
way
keys
over
yet.
to the post office.
Yeah.
And we got out to the post office, and after waiting in line behind two people for about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so, we finally got up to the line, and we talked to a man who had enough of people's shit 40 years ago. So he's not happy. Like, he was already sick of this shit. He heard her name, he heard that address, and his eyes rolled back to the I don't know, all the way to the back of his head. He was pissed. So he says, "Oh, so you're the one with the packages." And I think immediately, Izzy didn't pick up on this, but I thought immediately, fuck. But, you know, I was like, okay, yeah, well, I don't know about packages, but we had one package. And he says, oh, okay. Okay. So he goes, he gets Izzy's name, and then he goes and he gets a package that has her name on it, and he says, okay, this is for you. Then he leaves, and he wheels back a 6-foot-tall, 4-foot-wide, giant metal rolling container full of shipping boxes addressed to Kaylee, the fish molly. And I showed this, and I looked at his name, and I thought to myself, because for a minute I didn't pick up on it, I was like, wow, that's her last name? That's a weird name. And then I realized what the fuck it was. And so immediately I sit down, and I'm like, okay, do you know what Twitch is? He says no. Do you know what YouTube is? He says kinda. And he says, oh shit. And again, this guy has had enough of people's shit 40 years ago. And he's been working at the post office, dealing with a bunch of rich people for the last 20 years, and he is fucking tired of it. So he just got a giant 6-foot pile of shipping boxes addressed to Kaylee the fish molly, and, you know, he's just pretty much fucking sick and tired of this shit. And so I explained the situation to him, and he says, so you're rejecting the package?
Yeah, they asked us to pay for it. Or
no,
like,
they didn't ask us to pay for it.
Well, no, he asked, are you paying for this?
Yeah, and I said, no, we're not. And he says, so you're rejecting it? And I said, yes. And he says, And so I explained to him about the internet situation. At this point, I mean, this guy, again, is like 55 years old. So, you know, I'm pretty sure he's just now learning about Facebook. So he's not necessarily, you know, with the times. But he knows enough about it to know that it's a pain in his ass. And we go back, we tell... Oh, wait, there's another thing that got sent. Remember this one?
The letter?
This was a letter. Was actually... I had no idea that he did this. But apparently, out of the bottom of his heart and the goodness in his heart and soul, Mitch Jones created a homeless foundation. And we received the letter from Google to authorize this homeless foundation in Mitch Jones's name. So he shows us all of this. We explain it, and oh right. On the front of that letter, there's a big fucking question mark.
People wrote a big question mark on the letter.
Yeah, they were like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, we all had this happen, and obviously, you know, it was a bad time. So we rejected, by the way, the about 450 shipping containers that I'll turn down the AC in a minute. We rejected the 450 shipping containers to Kaylee the Fish Molly, and we told them basically, if you know what, man, if you get an order for over 50 boxes, just go ahead and cancel it.
Yeah.
So the idea is like, why was I telling this story?
Well, just
about some dumb shit,
yeah,
right? I mean, basically, like, this is just it's mounting evidence that, and like, this is also like the people at the HOA. I mean, this is.
By the way, that letter was in Polish. That's why I could even read it.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yeah, exactly. That's why they probably had the question mark on it. Nobody knew what the fuck it said.
All the things on it was in Polish, so I could read it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, some Polish dude literally opened an account.
Well, he
started a business.
He set up a charity foundation.
Yeah,
in Mitch's name,
in Poland,
called the Mitch Jones Homeless Shelter.
Addressed to our house.
Yeah, addressed to the house. So, yeah, we had to deal with this. And it was a little bit fucking ridiculous. But the point is that, you know, all these people, this is like a fine, upstanding neighborhood full of people that have a stick up their ass all the time.
Yeah.
And here's how nice this neighborhood is. They like to drive around the neighborhood in golf carts. You know, and you know they name they call their kid Sport, and you know they wear baseball hats. You know, this is the kind of neighborhood that we're talking about here. Everybody's got their lawn mowed.
There was no golf court either. Like, they were just straight up driving around in their golf carts around the neighborhood. Like, I was just like so dumbfounded when I saw that. I was like, where's our fucking golf cart? We need to get one.
Yeah. So, they were not
golf
happy.
Court. Oh, what's it called? Golf
cart.
No, like the area you play golf in. What's that called?
The green?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It depends.
Golf.
People call it different things.
Golf course?
The
course.
putting green? Yeah.
There you go, course. Sorry.
golf
Thanks,
okay.
chat.
All right. So yeah, I mean, the point is that like basically everybody in this area in the city had just about enough of the Pepega Palace. Okay.
Yeah.
The Taco Bell's had issues. Torchy's I think had issues. I don't fucking remember. Let's see. The place that I got my hair cut, they had a lot of fucking issues. Let's see. The post office had issues. HEB had issues. That's a grocery store. So pretty much like half of every single resident in that area in the city did not want us to be there or them to be there, including me sometimes, right? And so this is something like the whole idea that, you know, Izzy is the architect of the destruction of the house could not be further from the truth. The fact is, half the people in the fucking city were the architect of the destruction of the house. They were not happy about them, as I said, from day 2. All right, we got, it was 24 hours. We did pretty good that first 24 hours.
I was drinking wine the first day after we moved in. I was chilling.
Yeah, you were having a good time.
Yeah,
you didn't know what was going to happen. So, yeah, they were fucking pissed after that. And it just kind of got worse. And it was like, it's one of those things where whenever you never know somebody and you don't like them, and then every little fucking thing they do pisses you off. That's basically how the HOA was.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, they went around, and weren't they complaining about cigarette butts?
Well, so I don't know if this was one of the reasons why we got the house, but Ethan is a smoker, and a lot of people who rent houses do not allow smokers in the house. So, of course, we lied in the lease, and we said that there are no smokers in the house. So I told Ethan several times to like not leave buds out because that would get us screwed. And I will say that he did try to keep it clean, but when I left there was a couple of them there. I don't know if it's like a smokers thing where they just do that, but I think that's like I will say in Ethan's favor that he was like the most quiet person there besides Jay. Like, I saw him down there a couple of times when they were being loud, but he was like, he was not talking. I had no problem with Ethan at all in the house. We had a little argument when we moved in because I was pissed about the 4 a.m. thing, but
there's arguments, but I mean, like, that's just like shit that happens.
Yeah, but I never had an issue with Ethan after that. Yeah. We were fine. I think Ethan is a super nice guy, and I thoroughly enjoyed living with him. He was fine. So, that's that.
So you want to talk about the, let's see, where are we at now? So...
Yeah, I don't know where
the garbage, remember they're mad about the garbage?
I want to tell you guys something about the garbage, because since everything else is out there and I'm being made to look bad, we have to have a garbage pickup to the house. Like, I don't know if it was... Yeah, we paid like $240 to have somebody bring a big truck to the house and pick up all the garbage that they had stored in the garage. if you guys had watched any of the streams, you know that they park their cars in the driveway, right? Everybody parked their cars in the driveway. You want to know why? Because every trash bag that they collected downstairs, they just put it in the garage. So there was like 20 garbage bags in the garage. There was flies everywhere, cockroaches everywhere, like stuff dripping out of the bags, just like going. Tons of boxes everywhere from like furniture that they had, you know, when we moved in. But just like the whole garage essentially was full with trash. So no one parked in the garage. And so we had to hire someone for like over $200 to come to the house, pick up all the shit. Like the guy, he said he was going to do it for $100. But when he got to the house and saw how fucking bad it was, he's like,
he doubled his price and they still thought they got off
for less
cheap.
than $200.
Yeah, that was a disgusting bit of garbage.
You could not open the garage door without it just like...
Yeah.
It was really bad. And I will say, I think Llama's dad came and did that once too, because he had a truck. So he did come to the house and like pick up the trash again after that. And a lot of the house, I don't even think they know, like I don't think they've lived in the house before where they've had to like pull out the garbage cans to the front of the like driveway with all the trash in it for pickup, right? That's what you do if you live in a residential home. Sorry if I'm like babbling. But yeah, so on a certain day during the week, you have to pull up your garbage cans to the front of the house. And then someone, like the people come up and pick it up. And then after that, you have to pull them back to somewhere where apparently the HOA needs the garbage cans not to be in view, which I didn't know, but yeah, anyway, it makes sense. It's a really like expensive neighborhood. And yeah, so they complained about that. They were like, you can't leave these garbage cans full of trash in your fucking driveway. Like, you need to get rid of that now. This is your first warning. So we're like, okay, we should not be leaving trash in front of the house. Makes sense. So we stopped doing that. We just put the trash cans in the garage with the trash bags in them, and it just stank up the fucking garage. Like, nobody parked in the garage the whole time we lived at the house. And that's why. Because it's just full of fucking trash. Like, it smelled like shit in there. And like, I don't understand. Like, maybe it was all the people coming over. I'm not really sure. Like, a lot of times the house would order food from different places. I think the only person who actually did cooking was Mitch and maybe Dustin sometimes. Like, he said he made a lot of sandwiches in the house.
One time I microwaved something.
You did?
Yeah.
That doesn't count because that's plastic you have to throw out. Like, I'm saying, like, actual cooking with utensils and stuff. Like, not something you have to throw in the trash. Everybody else, including me, I'm gonna be honest, like, yeah, I'm lazy. I hate cooking. So, yeah, I did also do that.
Yeah,
but
I take her out for dinner.
I don't understand. Yeah, I mostly honestly went out to dinner too. Like, yeah, anyway, so I just don't know how the trash got so full. Like, literally after one day, that thing was full. And there was like tons of water bottles and all this other stuff. I don't understand how we got pulled full so fast. I really don't, because I've lived in houses before where that wasn't the case. And my previous house, there was 8 people living there, so we didn't have that problem. We were supposed to order more bins, but because they expected me to do it, and I didn't want to do it because I was never down there, it never got done. Like, I was in charge of getting all the utensils for the house, like the plastic, because no one else was. And then after that, I just stopped buying it because it's fucking expensive. Like, I kept buying this stuff for the house and they just kept using it, and no one else was paying for it. So I stopped buying the plastic stuff, and I was like, we should probably buy... What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Are you poking your nose?
No, are they making fun of me?
Yeah, they're talking
Were they saying
about you.
Zach? The fuck, guys? I'm not even doing anything.
Was he poking his nose, chat?
trying to play the victim. I was trying to play like Chad's fucking beating up on me.
He can't breathe through his nose, guys. He needs to pick out those boogers. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he can't breathe if those boogers are in there.
Yeah, you
It's
guys
true.
don't want me to die, do you?
It's
Wait,
a
actually,
medical
don't answer
condition,
that.
guys.
Say what?
It's a medical condition.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get you to go get a rhinoplasty.
They can take the one from the extra from your nose and put it on mine.
That'd be perfect. Yeah. He does have a very small nose in person, actually. Come up here. Have you guys never noticed? I guess guys don't really look at other guys the same way, but look how small that nose is compared to mine. Right? Well, yeah, anyway. God, I forgot where I left off again. Oh, I keep...
Okay, so,
What was I talking about? Stop! You guys keep interrupting me. I'm like feeling myself. I'm like telling a story. You guys just like, oh, oh yeah, the trash.
yeah, so there's trash everywhere. I mean,
Oh.
that's pretty much the whole story, right? So, now what else
Oh, yeah,
chapters
so
happened after
The
that?
reason why I didn't want to buy utensils for the house, like actual utensils, was because everything that we bought, the pots, the pans, bowls, cups, they were all sitting in the sink for like 2 weeks. Dirty. No one washing them. Like they would use the pans and everything and then just not clean it. And I could never cook in the house because the dishwasher was not working and I didn't want to fucking clean up after whoever left it in there. So that's why I kept ordering food, because all the shit was always dirty. And even if I cleaned it, like I did clean it once and then it was dirty the next day and they didn't clean up after themselves. So there's that. And I also didn't want to get food to the house, like, you know, TV dinners and stuff, because people kept eating my shit. Like, I had to have, like, 2 house meetings where I discussed this. I was like,
I don't get how people fucking
I don't
do
know who did this, but I'm just letting you know that whoever it was, can you not?
that. After this happened, I bought a slice of cake, like a deluxe slice of cake. You remember this?
Yeah.
It was a good cake. So I buy this from H-E-B, and I don't eat it the first day. And this is after I knew that there was a food thief. I was literally getting...
He exposed himself on stream.
I was getting anxiety. I was getting anxiety about this because I was so worried that I would go to her house and the cake would be gone. But fortunately, you know, a breezy almost
I was
ate the
spamming
cake.
in his chat. I was like, do
almost.
not eat that. That's Zach's fucking cake. Do
Yeah.
not eat that. And then he saw it. He's like, okay.
Yeah, so I did not. Luckily, I did get my cake. The only thing is, I do want to admit, though, I did drink a Dr. Pepper that was not mine. It happened to
They
be
drank your
Dustin's.
whole Dr. Pepper.
It happened to be Dustin's.
Every
And then,
time-
yes, there was a 12-pack that I brought downstairs. Big fucking mistake.
Yeah.
The other 12-pack is still up in her room. And that's my secret stash. But I brought
had
that
water
12-pack down.
upstairs.
And they found it out because I had it in a secret cupboard. Well, they found that. This
Yeah.
is where I had, like, all my food stash. Like my
They found the
cupcakes
secret-
and, yeah, my stash of sodas and everything, right? And so they got into it. But then Dustin, obviously, you know, I told him because he was pissed off. He's like, somebody's drinking my Dr. Peppers. I was like, yeah, it's me. And I gave him, I gave him a Dr. Pepper back. So we're even now. Okay? So that was pretty much solved. Now, have we gotten to the part about the dog?
Not yet. Honestly, that's going to take me an hour to explain, but...
I mean...
one last thing about the food and stuff. Yeah, every time we bought sodas and, like, drinks, I think the people that came over to the house just figured it was a free-for-all, and they just, like, ate our food, and they drank our water, and they drank our sodas. So, like, it got to a point where I would buy groceries and just store it in my room. Like, you cannot leave that stuff down there if it's, like, good, because they'll just eat it up. Anyway, let's talk about the dog. Can we get the dog emote in chat?
Let me go get a drink.
Okay. Oh, get me another water. I think I
Give
drank
me another water.
I already drank it.
God damn.
I drink a lot of water.
No wonder you gotta use the bathroom all the time.
So, I wanna start off the conversation about the dog with, I fucking love that dog. Like, that dog was the best. That dog would get so excited when she saw me. I'm gonna miss the fuck out of that dog. I really am. Like, I almost cried yesterday when I thought about that dog, because I was like, I love that dog so much. And I came back from California, and she ran up to me, and she was like freaking out when she saw me. It made me so happy. I was like, this dog, I'm gonna steal this dog right now. Like, can I just have this dog with me? So, I'm getting emotional. Like, this dog, so good. And Pippa, too. Like, both of the dogs. Pippa was a bit of a pipega, but her face is so cute. Like, you cannot be mad at her face. Let me show you guys the face of Pippa. Like, let me pull it up right now. Like, you guys will understand when I show you. Wait. I have pictures of the other dog too, but I just want to show this real quick. I made a little video of her looking at my food. She was just like, yeah. Anyway, they're just cute little dogs. Like, they honestly, I really liked Kaylee's dog a lot. Like, she'd always want to jump on the couch and cuddle with me, lay in my lap, just like roll over on her belly for belly massages. She was just great. So, the one thing I'm going to miss out of the whole house is that dog.
That dog was like her baby. By the way, my mom wanted to ask if you want a hamburger. She's making hamburgers. Do you want one?
Sure.
Oh, shit.
Can we get a heart in chat from mom, like, Asmon mom?
Do you want yours with a bun or anything, or just a hamburger?
Yeah, bun. Does she have, like, lettuce or something? Or
I don't think so.
tomato?
No,
Or just a bird?
we don't have those green
Okay,
things
what
in
about
this house.
mustard and,
Mustard and ketchup? Yeah, I'll let her know, and then I'll just go down and I'll make it for you.
We bought mustard and ketchup, right, the other day?
Yeah.
I'll use that.
Okay.
Yeah, his mom is great. She's really nice. I mean, we have tons of conversation about random shit, me and her mom. Anyway, so Kaylee had a dog back in New Jersey where she lives. And initially we were going to have 2 dogs at the house. It was going to be Jay's dog and Tiffany's dog. Tiffany's dog being Pippa, the dog I just showed you guys. And we were all okay with that. And when Jay moved in, she didn't have her dog with her. So we were like, where's the dog? And she's like, she doesn't really like other dogs, so I left her behind. Yada yada, whatever. We're like, okay, cool. And then Kaylee goes to New Jersey. Kaylee goes to New York with Tiffany for a G Fuel event, and they stay for maybe a week or so. And then Kaylee wrote in the group chat, she's like, I'm bringing a dog with me. We're like, what dog? And she shows a picture of the dog, and we're like, okay. It was a small dog. I didn't have a problem with it. I was like, I kind of wish we had talked about it, because I wanted a dog too. Like, I really want a dog. Like, I want a small dog that I can cuddle and hang out with, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I wasn't too mad about it. So she brought her dog with her. I like the dog a lot, but the main issue is that dog is a puppy, and puppies need a ton of attention and a ton of training. I've trained a dog before, 2 dogs actually. So it has Tiff, she's trained dogs before. Pippa is fairly trained. I would say she's not the best dog I've ever met, but she's
not feral.
Yeah, she's not feral. Like, she knows not to poop and pee in the house. Like, she can listen to commands. She knows her name. She is perfect to go for walks with. But Kaylee's dog has no training. Like,
it does whatever the fuck it wants.
it has no training. It doesn't know it's... Like, literally, it didn't have a name when it moved into the house. So we named it Arya, the girl with no name. That was why we named it Arya, because the dog had no name. And it was a girl, so that's why we called it that.
So...
Do you want to take over the stream?
Well, no, it's okay.
He's dying to take over the stream right now. He does this every time I come in his house to stream. He's just like hovering in my background, just like, I don't want to talk to your viewers.
Yeah?
He does this every time that I stream at his house.
So, the dog
Uh-huh.
shits everywhere.
Yeah. That dog shit on my fucking carpet. And I have like a...
It just does whatever it wants to do. And this is a problem, right? And the dog shitting everywhere was a problem. And to the point where, well, I'll get to that, right? But before I get to that, I want to give you guys a question. Or actually, just think about this. Think about how great this dog's life is. Like,
That is so
it literally
true.
gets fed treats 24/7.
Yeah, like no
There's
one...
like 4 people that take care of it and
like,
pet her.
Guys,
and they do
literally, it would shit on the floor, and then someone
And then-
would give it a
oh,
treat.
oh no!
And then they pet the dog. I'm like,
And you know, they're just
Like-
being so nice to the dog, giving him treats while she's shitting on the carpet. And, you know, nobody really gives a fuck. Like, think about this dog's life. She goes wherever it wants, shits wherever the fuck it wants, pisses everywhere. Who cares? And it just gets fed treats and gets petted all the time. It's like the greatest life for a dog. I wish I could get reincarnated as a dog like
Yeah.
that. It would be fucking incredible. Well, anyway, the dog's life might have been great, but everybody else's life wasn't as good.
Yeah.
And so there was a situation that occurred in which an individual in the house had the great idea to do their laundry.
yeah.
Well, we have a laundry room.
Well, it
Which,
has,
if you
yeah.
want to say if there's any sort of a litter box for the dog, that's the laundry room. Not a place in the laundry room, but the whole thing. So anyway, this individual goes and they open up the they open up the room to the what do you call it? The laundry room,
Yeah.
and they take their laundry down there, and they're going to open up because they have one of these things that actually needs the Tide Pods, you know, the things
Yeah.
that taste very delicious. And anyway, so they open up the Tide Pod box.
By the way, I'm about 90% certain it's Kaylee writing on his channel, by the way, so... If
Oops.
it's not, then... Well, Mitch's account.
Well, this happened, right? I mean, like...
I mean, this is nothing against Kaylee, like,
it's the dog,
it's the dog.
right?
We're
This
just
is
talking
it's a
about the
funny
dog.
story. Like, I mean, it's a funny story. So they open up the box.
Like, I don't want drama, but,
Let me... Can I
didn't-
tell them what's in the box?
yeah.
Dog shit. Dog
I
shit's
don't
in the box.
know
Dog
who
shit's
did
in
this,
the box.
by the way. Like,
Yeah, so
I'm not
they
gonna
took all
say-
the... Yeah, because they cleaned it up. So they took the poop that was in the laundry room.
yeah.
And they're like, I know how to fix this. We'll put it in a box of Tide Pods. And honestly, like, there are things like that happen that are just so poetic. They're beautiful. And that's the way that I felt about it. Now, obviously, the person who was trying to do their laundry didn't feel the same way because
Yeah,
they
were
reached
disgusted
there.
by
Imagine
it.
just reaching in there.
I pretty much didn't do my laundry in the house because there was always, like, shit on the floor. And then there was tons of clothes on the floor, too, like, all the time. And in the laundry, on the floor, on the counter, in the washer and dryer, always full with clothes. I don't know whose clothes was in there, but it was just impossible to do laundry in that house. It really was. And so I just had like a big stack of clothes that needed to be washed all the time.
Here's a good question. Whoever did that, do you think they washed their hands? They washed their hands after they put the poop in the box? What do you think the chances are?
Are you asking chat?
No, I'm asking you.
No.
No. I mean, it was dried anyway.
It's just like, I just want to say this really quick as like respectful as I can, but I just don't think it's fair to pin everything on me and say that I'm the reason we got evicted when all of this stuff happened at the house. And I was very abundantly clear at our meeting when I announced that I was moving out that I did not want us to talk about this, like on stream or anywhere. Like I did not want
the entire house had sat down and agreed on a narrative that they were going to say, and they weren't going to talk about any of the drama until it got brought up. Right? There was an agreement that they would not talk about this at all.
And I'm gonna get to the other point later, but I want to give like a background story before I do that, because I want you guys to know what was going on inside of the house. And I never would have said this. Like, I never would have gone on Twitter or Twitch to talk about any of this stuff, because I just don't think it's fair for the people in the house at all, you know, if it wasn't necessary, you know. But I really feel like I've been quiet about this while just being pinned against the wall like I was an issue. And that really, really bothered me. Like, it's not fair to me, because I genuinely put in so much work to keep this house together. I really did. Really, truly. Like, I'm getting emotional. That's how much.
She did a lot for the house. She wanted everything to work out. I don't think anybody went into this and they were thinking, wow, I can't wait to fuck everything up. You know, I mean, like, let's be real. Like, nobody wanted this to go wrong.
And, like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm, like, putting on a show either, because I didn't want to do the stream. But I feel like a lot of stuff was left out, because I was okay with them talking about it, but they just left out so much stuff that they didn't talk about, and only, for most part, talked about what I did. You know, like me telling them to shut up and being a party pooper, and like telling the landlord. And I'm gonna just say, while Kelly is watching the stream, that I feel bad about talking to the landlord. Like, I really shouldn't, but I was so upset. Like, I have been trying so hard to vouch for you guys to the landlord, like lying about the conditions in the house, and then you guys just kept doing this stuff. And I'm gonna get to that part later, because that's a whole other situation. Like, what happened towards the end of the house, I feel like that's a different conversation, you know?
Do you need tissue?
I'm okay. But yeah, I know this is turning into, like, I don't want to be emotional on my stream, because, like, I know how you guys are going to spin it, and, like, I don't want to do that. So let me just cool off a little bit. I'm getting really emotional. Like, this is what happens when I get, like, anxious and upset. I just give it a second. I will cool off, and it will go back to normal. I'm sorry. This is, like, I get like this when I'm emotional on my stream, you know? It's just, I'm sorry. I just hate the idea that, like, never mind. Anyway, I don't even, so let's not talk about the dog anymore, because I feel like it's starting to sound like I'm blaming Kaylee for this, and I'm really not, because a new dog, a puppy, is a lot of work. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Kaylee knew this. because a lot of people don't know this. They get a new dog, a puppy, and they just kind of think that the dog will be trained and you can just like go about your life. But you have it takes a lot of time and dedication to train a dog. You have to literally be with the dog all day, take her potty maybe 8 times when they're new. This dog was a couple of weeks old, so it didn't need that much. But the reason why the dog pooped in the house is because it just doesn't understand that it needs to be outside to poop, right? It hadn't gotten to that yet. And like, I know I know dogs are like this because I've seen other dogs do this. And I think that Kaylee needed to put a lot more work into it, but she just didn't realize that she needed to. Because you're supposed to train the dog from the very beginning. And a lot of people also think that you can just go to like a place and train your dog there, like for the day, but a dog requires like weeks of training. So if you guys ever get a dog, please do not think that you can just go to somebody, get your dog trained for like a day, and they're gonna be great. No, like if you're getting a dog, that's like getting a not like a baby, but it's a lot of work. You're gonna have to spend weeks training your dog, taking them on walks, taking them outside to poo and pee constantly so that they learn that they're supposed to go outside to do that. So just keep that in mind, anybody that's considering getting a dog, that's what you're signing up for. But I want to move on from that. And I see a comment saying Kaylee said they are not getting evicted. See, like, I know Kaylee is pretty malicious in what she's been doing, and I can forgive her for that because I think she's just upset. And I want to have a discussion with her privately. But no, they were not in the eviction proceedings because I know what evictions are like. They didn't file a notice. They were not in the proceedings yet. Evictions can take months, right? My ex had to evict somebody. It can take a long time. And the first step to an eviction is when they leave a note on your door telling you have to move out, right? It did not get that far. We didn't get to that point. And when we talk about they're getting evicted, they were getting evicted anyway, I'm not saying that they were in the process of an eviction. I'm saying that was where they were headed.
It was going to happen.
They were heading there.
It was going to happen.
100%, especially if they're going to fight. Like, it was either they move out or get evicted, right? Those were the two options. And the house owner was ready to fight the eviction. And I was vouching for the house. I was saying, we're not doing all this stuff. She came over to the house. We literally hired a maid the day before she came to the house to make sure the house was clean, right? So she came over, saw that it wasn't dirty, went about her day. We said, there's not 7 people living here. We didn't say that specifically to her, but we made sure Dustin and Ethan were not home. And that was it. Like, she was on our side. But what they don't know is that I had a long conversation with the house owner's friend because the homeowner, homeowner, I keep saying, switching between, she doesn't speak English very well. She lives in Mexico. So she sent her friend to talk to me. And like the whole night, I have stuff I want to share with you guys. I feel like it's like, should I just talk about it now? I don't know. There's a lot more to like the other stuff, but if you guys just want me to jump ahead to that, I can. So let me know in chat if you want me to just talk, like continue talking about the rest of the other issues at the house, or just move on to that event. Let me know. Like because like there's a lot more that happened before then, but I could just jump ahead and because I'm
Where are we at here?
well, we talked about Kaylee's dog, and then Kaylee got mad in chat, so...
What? I mean, like, the dog's untrained. It's shitting all over the house. Like,
Yeah.
of course people aren't gonna like that.
And she brought up the friend thing, too, so I just banned her
come
from my chat.
on.
It's not related to this whatsoever. That's our own beef that we have to deal with, but it's just like I just honestly feel that this didn't have to happen, but I genuinely was pinned against the wall. Like, I feel like several people have been accused at this point, not just me. And I will say that I think Mitch did a great job. I'm honestly shocked. I would never expect Mitch to do such a great job in all of this.
I told you
Like,
he was reformed.
Can we get a heart in chat from Mitch for just staying out of this publicly?
See,
I never thought that would happen, because in every other situation that he has been in for the past couple of years, he's been the first person to flip the fuck out, and he didn't. And I'm so, like, me and Mitch may not be good friends, but I'm very, very impressed. So, I just want to say that.
I was a little bit skeptical, but he and we talked a bit before they all moved in, and I just said, you know what? I think that it's an actual new Leaf Jones. And it turned out to be the case. So, yeah, I mean, Mitch actually didn't have anything really to do with all this.
And on top of that, he also spent a lot of time just in his room playing games. Like, he wasn't a part of a lot of the parties that happened downstairs. And, like, I'm not gonna blame people. I'm not gonna say, like, this person did that, because it's just not fair. Like, I really don't think it's fair. But this is what happened at the house, and I'm gonna discuss what happened, but I'm not gonna say who did what, because it's just not it's not necessary. And I really don't think, like, a lot of people are talking about Kaylee's dog being, like, a main issue, which it was a big issue, but I really just don't think that she knew what she got herself into. And the dog simply shouldn't have been in the house at that stage. The dog needed training.
Well,
and doing that in the house is not the right place to do it.
It's like, I mean, I don't see how Kaylee can get mad about that. I mean, she literally had a dog that was walking around shitting and pissing all over the house.
Everyone knew the dog was
I mean,
doing
like,
this.
let's just step back for a second and think about living in a house with a dog that shits and pisses everywhere. Of course people are going to criticize that and get upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't us singling Kaylee out or anything. I mean, come on. Come on. Of course people are going to be upset about that.
Yeah. I wasn't super upset about it. Like, I know other people in the house was more upset than I was. The only issue I had was that whenever I left my door open to my room, the dog would personally come into my room and poop on my carpet. Like, I genuinely think the dog thought that my carpet was like grass, and she was supposed to poop on it, because it was always on my carpet. It was never on my, like, floor. It was just on my carpet every time. And so my solution was just closing my door, and that fixed the problem, you know, for me at least. But, and also I know the dog has a lot of potential. Like, it's not like the dog was a bad dog, because Tiff did a lot of tricks with her without a treat, and she was able to, like, understand. So I do think the dog has potential to be trained, and I really, really hope that Kaylee takes it more seriously for the sake of the next house.
You don't have a dog that shits all over the house. I mean, this is not, I mean, really, this is not, I can't even imagine being defensive about this. It's like, if I was her, I would be constantly apologizing, cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Right? And this is me. Okay? Like, if you have I mean, like, come on. Like, it's not even really her, it's the dog.
Yeah. So, moving on from the dog, I think the main issue was the fact that the house was just, like, not clean. And I know several people in the house kept cleaning up after one another, and I cleaned up the kitchen a couple of times, but eventually I just gave up. Like, I gave up because every house meeting we would talk about the same things. And the rules that we would set during the house meetings would just keep getting broken the same day. It's just, like, if you're setting rules, just don't agree with it. Like, don't set rules and then just break it in the same day. Well, maybe you should address it, I think.
What?
The second part.
The money thing?
Yeah.
So you want, like, the Kaylee tweet? I mean, just want me to say it? I mean, I can just say it.
So,
I mean,
Zach went over to the house today, and
yeah.
Mitch gave him money to give to me.
Well, Mitch, to be fair, so the money, he did not give the money to me. The money was sitting on a box next to the room.
My room?
Yeah, next to
Oh,
your
so they
room.
didn't take it back?
It was literally just a stack of 20s.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, there was nothing else really more than that. I picked up the money. I asked, I think that I asked somebody about it, and that was pretty, I asked Kaylee about
Well,
it.
I just think that it's
that
really
was it.
immature for Kaylee to just bring up irrelevant issues, because it's just obvious that she's trying to make me look bad at this point.
Well,
like, that 4-second clip, and, like, I don't even want to give it attention because it's just ridiculous.
Well,
like,
let's say one thing.
I had a whole conversation, like a 30-minute conversation about that, and I guarantee you, you can go into anybody's stream and clip a 4-second out of a whole stream to make anyone look bad. I mean, Zach literally on his stream the other said, they're fucking monkeys, all of them. If I clip 4 seconds of that and leave out the whole context of it, that's
Looks
gonna
like
make
I'm
him
getting
look
a
like a
Kotaku
racist.
article.
Yeah, like...
Well, let me say this, right? This is the strongest argument that I have, right? And like, I talked to Kaylee about this today, right? And
yeah, he went over to the house today.
and we had a conversation about this because it did seem like that this hurt Kaylee, and I feel like if Kaylee is genuinely hurt by this, to at least give Izzy the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
because there's a number of reasons. Number one, I would say,
and it's also really disrespectful to talk about me being upset about my stream and saying I should wipe my tears with my money, because I was genuinely upset. And it's like, I cannot just go AFK for 20 minutes because I'm upset. Like, it's really immature, and I genuinely feel like it's not worth fighting over this stuff. Like, I don't want to fight about this stuff at all. I just want us to move past this and not deal with each other again. Like, I have no problem if you don't want to talk to me ever again or even try to resolve anything. But you know, Kaylee, better than anybody, that I spent hours and I tried very hard to help you go through that situation, because I had experienced that for myself. I would never, ever say something like that with the intent of being malicious. Ever. Because I went through years of trying to recover from that situation I went through. So,
well, it's also
just don't.
I mean, if here's like my argument, right? I think this is like a thing, right? Is that saying that if you actually, because you're saying that clip does not represent how you feel,
Yeah.
right? So okay, you know, that's and like, you either believe it or not. The best argument that I have to say, okay, that's probably true, is the fact that whenever she said that, there wasn't a 10,000 point live stream fails post upvoted about her saying that. Because imagine if somebody who, I mean, like, let's be honest, Izzy's disliked by a lot of the people on live stream fail, for example. If they hear her say that, oh, my
Just
friend's
don't
best friend...
even say it, Zach. It's
Okay, well, if they hear her saying
like,
that...
don't even give the drama attention. It's not worth it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying that if the context was actually what it was in that clip,
Yeah.
then there would have been an article about this. There would have been an
there's
outrage
a reason
about this.
why.
There's a reason why nobody brought this up until now.
Yeah,
it's because the context was completely different.
Yeah, because it's a 4-second clip. Like
that's all.
There's a reason why they didn't post the 30-minute conversation that I had about it. So it's just, this is the type of stuff that is a problem in the community, because people take things out of context in a lot of situations and they get banned for it. You know, like, we've had several people get banned throughout the years because they've said something or they've done something that's been taken out of context or misconstrued when their intentions were completely different. And people write articles about it, like websites are just taking things and twisting it into their own narrative. Like, this is a genuine problem in the community, because I have had friends where this has happened to, and they didn't deserve getting banned or getting, like, a ton of backlash for it. You know, like, they've said something that may be a little, what's the word? Edgy on their streams, you know? And it's completely taken apart and made to look like something it's not. And their reputations are ruined because of this. Forever. And it's wrong. Like, I think everybody needs to be skeptical of these things with anyone, even me. Because it's just not, a lot of things that you hear online especially are not what they seem. Another point that, I don't want to talk about this for too long because I just don't think it's worth discussing, but a lot of times when someone gets banned on Twitch, they have all the money in the bag. Like, they can tell you whatever they want about what happened, right? And they know that Twitch is never going to reveal why they got banned, and so they turn it into something it's not, right? Which this is my personal opinion, but I feel like Twitch should be more open about public bans, like big bans that happen, and actually say what happened. Because I feel like streamers, they're just like walking on a thin line. They don't know what could get them banned. And that's an issue, because it's like, how are you supposed to follow the rules when you don't know when they're being broken?